Hey guys, how's it going? I am out of quarantine, or isolation, or whatever the hell I'm supposed to call it, I don't know. But I'm feeling so much better than the last time you saw me, which I just want to take a second to say thank you for all of the incredibly kind well wishes. It wasn't the easiest thing I've ever been through, but it surely also wasn't the worst. So thank you for all the kind wishes and love. I wanted to come to the community plot today because I just haven't been here in probably over 10 days. My quarantine was 10 days, but I was very busy before then. So yeah, I wanted to show you around. I think we might have some stuff to pick. Also, I think I may have a small aphid problem because I have a ton of little ladybugs. I think that's what they are. I don't know. Let's call this the December garden tour. Okay, guys, so these are my parsnips. And I'm like 99% sure that those are little like ladybug larvae, but I could be very wrong. And then there are some actual ladybugs. Yeah, I don't know what these are. Maybe they're not ladybug larvae. These seem like squash bugs or something, but they are freaking everywhere. I don't think they're really hurting the parsnips, to be honest. So like I'm not super bothered by them. And it doesn't look like any of these parsnips are actually ready to pick anyway. All of my beautiful zinnias are starting to get a ton of powdery mildew, which is this stuff. We have had the weirdest weather. It's been very warm and it's been very humid. So I mean, the flowers are still like glorious. Flowers are still amazing, but, you know, we obviously don't want to spread disease. So I'm probably going to need to come pull all of these zinnias, which is honestly perfect timing. I think I'm actually going to plant onions here. And then I also think I'm going to plant potatoes. I had a subscriber who recommended planting potatoes in last week of January and first 2 weeks of February, and I think that will actually be good timing because I can hopefully get those dug up before I plant what I'm going to plant here. So that's the plan. So all of these zinnias are going to be removed because they're going to die. We have a freeze coming up next week and they certainly won't survive. It looks like there's a golden beet, but it does not look like it's ready to harvest. Yeah, it's still pretty small. And we're not gonna break it off like I did the other one. Yeah, all of these zinnias have really bad powdery mildew, like really, really bad. Okay, y'all, so my camera died. And I should have changed the battery before I left, but I didn't, so here we are. So I'm gonna finish this garden tour on my phone. I apologize in advance for the quality of the video, but let's finish walking around this garden. Okay, so it looks like this is actually a radish that I somehow missed. And so we've got a nice little radish to take home, and that looks like a super tiny little radish. And like I said, our parsnips do not look like they're ready to be harvested, like at all. Although I'm not really sure what's going on here, like why that leaf discoloration's happening, but yeah, who knows. I have this hilarious little tomatillo that volunteered and I just haven't pulled it. But here's some of my garlic that's popping up, which is good. I didn't get as good of germination out of it, but I should still have, you know, a sizable amount of garlic. And then this is purple kohlrabi. You can kind of see the bulb forming, so that'll hang for a while longer. These are rutabagas. Oh, there's a big one. That's exciting. All right, guys, we're gonna pull this one. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. Okay, that was super exciting, and it looks like there's a few smaller ones that now can have some room. This is a weed. I've got dandelions pretty bad in my plot right now. One of the women who was watching my plot, she actually pulled a bunch of them for me. It doesn't look like any of these rutabagas are quite ready yet, but man, that's exciting. And then my carrots are sizing up. So these are all carrots right here. I actually just planted more carrots in the backyard garden, so hopefully those come up decently well. But I don't see any of these really pushing through. But I also am just being really annoying and I really want to pull one. Oh no! So this is what happens when you don't really till your soil and then you plant carrots. So, but that's okay. That one probably wouldn't have gotten much bigger, to be honest. This one looks like... Oh, hey, that's a good one. It doesn't, yeah, those are still too small. This one's starting to push itself up. Okay, that's exciting. There's some good ones in here. Maybe I should just stop while I'm ahead. That's probably the best course of action at this point. But it's so fun. Pulling root vegetables is just so fun. So other than that, my dandelion weed problem is a problem. My mustard greens are insane. Mustard greens love this area, which I find so funny. So yeah, we've got some mustard greens happening, some collards. So it wasn't like the biggest haul I've ever had in my life, but that's okay. I'm still like so curious about these parsnips. Like I don't know, I'm fascinated by how like massively huge they are and the fact that they're like not ready yet. Like I pulled them a couple weeks ago and they were like this big, but like the plants are massive. So anyways, yeah, this is what's happening at the community plot right now. We are slated for some freezing temps here in a few days, but what usually happens in Texas with freezing temperatures is it'll say it's freezing and then as it gets closer it's not freezing. I think either way, what needs to happen before too long is all of these zinnias have to get pulled. They've got powdery mildew and like the bees are still really loving them, so that's what makes it kind of like a hard decision to pull them. But yeah, so I mean they just gotta go. You can't let like bacteria and diseases spread in your soil. And also a fun announcement here at the community plot, I will hopefully actually be taking over another half of a plot. So this is the plot right next to me. And me and my friend here at the community garden are actually going to be taking over an extra empty plot that's been empty for a long time. And I'm actually going to plant only determinate tomatoes here. So I really want to try determinate tomatoes this year and get like a big like haul of determinate tomatoes. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But taking on more space, and of course I'll still have the backyard garden. So I can't seem to just be happy with the space that I have because I keep adding more, so. Okay guys, we're back. Me and my very curly hair because it's very humid. It's actually been very humid for days and days and days, but let's take a quick walk around the backyard. I feel like I've shown you the backyard a lot of times over the last few weeks, but I want to show you guys what's going on and how it's going to change coming up in the spring. We have some self-seeded Mexican torch sunflowers, which are big and beautiful as per always. This looks like a strangely placed sunflower, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. But these are gonna die here pretty soon because we have a freeze coming up here. So these are gonna die back. The parsley should survive the freeze. And then it looks like I've got some cilantro growing in there as well, which will be great. This little sunflower volunteered. He's a tiny little sunflower, but you know. These Phyllis marigolds I think I talked about, I think I'm completely in love with them, to be honest. So all of these beds will stay the same. However, this bed is going to have some dahlias. I ordered some dahlias as a gift to myself. I've talked to a lot of people, and supposedly growing dahlias in Texas is difficult, but not completely impossible. So we're gonna see how that goes. This area that the dahlias are gonna go in does not get afternoon sun. I've heard that's a good thing, so we're gonna see. I'm one of those people that, like, if somebody tells me I can't do something, it doesn't usually go very well, and I usually do it anyway. Because why believe somebody else when you could test it for yourself? So this bed is getting better because the leaves have fallen off the trees. We just really haven't had that much sun over the last couple of weeks, so it's definitely grown a little bit, but not exponentially the way I would love for it to. But some of this lettuce is going to get harvested before too long because it is going to get cold. If you're like me and you've struggled to grow lettuce, what I learned is that the sugars in lettuce actually condense when it gets cold. And that's when your lettuce is going to be nice and sweet, because I know I've tried to grow lettuce so many times and it's always just like so bitter that I've had to spit it out. Eat your lettuce when it's cold out. Oh, this lettuce is starting to look really nice. So is this lettuce, and I'm hoping it doesn't go to seed. I definitely have some lettuce that looks like it's going to go to seed here pretty quick. The Vego garden bed. So the plan for this bed, these are nasturtiums that are probably going to get completely taken out by the freeze we're going to have here in a few days. But what's going to happen in this bed is there's going to be a dahlia in the middle, and then the surrounding is going to be cosmos and different types of flowers. So this whole Vego garden bed is just going to be hopefully this big beautiful thing of flowers. And very similarly to my community plot, all of my zinnias in the backyard have powdery mildew, but they're not going to last past this freeze that we're going to have here in a few days, so it's really not gonna matter. Although the bees are very happy. And really good news, if you guys remember this rescue lemon tree from my friend, it's actually doing well. It's starting to sprout like these new little branches, which is super exciting. So I was really nervous that this thing was not going to do very well, but it's really like the stem is, or the tree trunk or whatever it is a lot stronger. So really happy with how this is progressing. And then here's a funny thing. Oh, that is a big grasshopper. Wow. Oh, that's a big grasshopper. Nope. Y'all, we don't F with grasshoppers around here. Especially ones that big. It was hiding on that blueberry bush. Nope. Nope, because grasshoppers will fly at your face. Ew, it's so big and scary. It looks just like a leaf. Gross. And now there's a spider. Y'all, I can't. Friend's trying to kill me back here. And by kill me, I mean scare me with all of its bugs. The blueberry bush is blossoming because it's confused. Because it's been so warm here. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all of these plants do once we get a cold snap. Speaking of struggling plants, my Meyer lemon tree, it's having some leaf discoloration that I can't seem to figure out. So, not sure what's happening there. If you know anything about that kind of discoloration, please leave it in the comments, because I really like this tree and I would like for it to live. Other things happening in the garden, these micro dwarf tomatoes have a couple little tomatoes on them, which is very exciting. They probably have not gotten enough sun because of this time of year in my backyard garden. This romaine lettuce is definitely trying to go to seed. That's what's happening. That's why it is so tall. And then the green bean bed is still alive, although I'm not sure how it's going to survive the freeze that we're going to have here in a few days. So I'm not sure how many green beans we're going to get, but it looks like there might be a few in here that I could pick. This is a dragon's tongue bush bean. It's very pretty. Yeah. rough green bean year. I could have done better. We did end up having a Christmas sunflower. This is the Red Rouge sunflower. I'm not really sure what's going on with the petals. I've never seen a sunflower actually do that. But things are happening there. And then I wanted to tell you guys, I made a hard garden design decision. I made a difficult decision in my spring garden design. And that is that my arch trellises will be coming down. So I realized that the stuff that I want to grow this year in the spring garden, I will have another trellis space. I'm actually turning this right here. I'm going to put trellis netting up between these two poles, and that's where I'm going to grow all of my cucumbers and all of that stuff. And I'm hoping it's going to be like a big green wall and loofahs, and I'm really excited. So that means I don't really need these arch trellises. As pretty as they are, and as much as I love them, I would much rather use the ground for like flat growing space. So once these green beans that are currently growing, oh, the sun's coming out. Once these green beans are done and dried up and I can grab seed from them, these trellises are going away. I love them. Arch trellises will definitely be something that are a part of my future garden, but this middle bed has really not been able to do much because of these two arch trellises. So we're just gonna make it one massive flat garden space all the way down. And we're gonna see how it goes. The stuff that I've just planted directly in the ground right here has always done really well. So some other things that are happening here in the backyard garden. I think I've given up on this Napa cabbage, and it's also like covered in aphids. So I think I'm probably just gonna rip all of this out, honestly. And like I said, I'm waiting for these to dry up so I can take them for seed. I think I even have a strawberry growing. Yeah, look at that. Oh, it's December and I have a strawberry growing. They're so confused. But this has been a really beautiful part of the garden the last couple of weeks. It's all of the greens. They've been looking really, really good. And we actually, I got crazy hair today, y'all. I actually cut a lot of those collard greens for Christmas dinner because we were still under isolation for Christmas, so we stayed home. And I made honey goat cheese creamed collard greens. So good. They were so good. And the last thing to note is this bed, which this is the bed that in my last vlog where I talked about having COVID, this was the bed that we planted together of sugar snap peas. And I'm not seeing any of the purple ones come up yet, but the other ones are starting to come up. And I think maybe we have a couple of little carrot seedlings popping up, so I don't want to step too much in this bed, but maybe I can zoom in. There's some sugar snap peas popping up, so that's exciting. I'm really hoping that the freeze doesn't just take all of those out. I think from right now what I'm seeing is it's supposed to be like a freeze of like, I think like 28. So it's not a really hard freeze. I think that's still in the light freeze category. But it also depends on how much of the wind chill you get, which is always it's always variable for us because of how the house and the yard is positioned. The only other thing to show you guys, this, which is my Eureka pink lemon tree. It is like got blossoms all over the dang place. Like, it is so confused of what time of year it is. And like even this, that's like a little like blossom that like thinks it's gonna turn into a lemon. I'm just so dang confused. I'm confused, it's confused, we're all confused. So basically the theme of the December garden tour is
the weather's been strange. As I think the weather's been strange like everywhere. I don't think this is like a problem to just like, I don't think this is unique to our climate at all. But yeah, it's a weird time to be alive. I feel so much better, thank goodness. And again, I know I said it at the beginning of the video, but thank you everybody for all your well wishes. It was quite an interesting experience having COVID. But we're back, and pretty soon you will start to see some content on my channel for seed starting. So I really love seed starting, so pretty pumped about that. Last thing I want to show you before we wrap up this December garden tour is the garage, because that's where the seed starting's happening this year. So we have a lot of work to do. This is a couch we need to get rid of. I've got to clean all of this stuff, get it all ready, maybe order some more heat mats. There's a lot of work to do out here. Like a lot of work to do out here. So this is what I'll be doing this week and next week before I start seeds. But last garden tour of 2021. Thanks so much for joining me all year on these crazy garden tours and all of the antics that come with them. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.